question. What's the difference between the U.S. debt and the debt that African nations own? Because the U.S. debt doesn't keep the U.S. from being one of the leading powers of the world, but then African nations can't make it because of that debt that is strangling them.
Hey beautiful people, how you're doing today? Take Destiny here and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is something that even when I saw this video, I was like, oh, it makes a lot of sense. I know a lot of people, and including myself, have been asking, why can't Africa get out of their debt? What's going on? Why is Africa so poor? Guys, I have an answer to this. I need you guys to see this video of these economists actually telling us why Africa's debt is like almost unpayable and why they keep devaluing the African currency. I need you guys to see this video and then we'll talk.
Thank you. I have a question. What's the difference between the U.S. debt and the debt that African nations own? Because the U.S. debt doesn't keep the U.S. from being one of the leading powers of the world, but then African nations can't make it because of that debt that is strangling them.
Should I talk? Okay. The first question is a very important question. What makes African and third world debt different from the American debt? Number one, America is never going to pay its debts. It doesn't have to. Its debts are in its own currency. We can simply print it. The African debt is not in its currency. The African debt is in US dollars. Africa has to earn the US dollars, and the only way it can earn the US dollars is not to be assassinated for growing its own food and becoming independent and doing something that the United States does not like. The principle underlying the foundation of the World Bank, the International Bank for IBRD research, the World Bank, is that no country should grow its own food. Africa and the third world should only grow export crops. To export, in order to have an oversupply of cocoa and other tropical raw materials, to keep down the price, they must buy their grain from the United States or Europe, so that if they do something that we don't like, we can do what America tried to do to China in the 60s. We can sanction them. We can say, we're going to starve you. We're going to not export any grain to you. So owing their foreign debt in dollars means that they have to somehow sell something that the United States wants, not what they want. I think the most evil organizations in the world today are the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund. And my book, Super Imperialism, that I wrote in 1972, is all about that. The largest purchasers of the book were the Defense Department and the CIA. I was immediately, the organization I worked for was given a $75,000, $85,000 Defense Department contract for me to come to explain to them how American imperialism worked, and they used it as a how to do it book. They thought it was just spontaneous, and I had written the book thinking that socialists and third world countries would do something about it, and indeed it was translated into Spanish and other languages, but it was really the Defense Department that applied most of this, and I was amazed when I was invited to the White House to explain how imperialism worked. And my boss said, we've run rings around the British imperialists. This is how to do it. You make them owe the debts in your currency, not their own. You control their central bank and make them financially dependent on you, and then you've got a stranglehold for them. So certainly the third world countries should cancel the debts under the odious debt principle. I haven't been able to convince any of them to do it because they said if we do that, the CIA will kill us. So how do you break that cycle? That's a problem I've not been able to solve.
Yeah. The other thing, when you were responding to the first question, there's also something we're suffering from in Africa. the devaluation of currency as another way of
Devaluation of
the currency.
currency. Yes.
As a way of keeping us dependent continuously.
That's a good point. When a country devalues a currency, what are they devaluing? Well, there's a world price for grain, a world price for aluminum, a world price for raw materials. The only thing that they can really devalue is the price of their labor. So when Africa or Latin America or Greece is told to, or America is told to devalue the currency, what that means is pay labor less. You have to squeeze out more to pay the top of the economic pyramid, to suck it all up to the top 10% or 1% or 0.1%. So devaluation is basically an anti-labor policy to prevent a domestic market and prosperity from developing. That is why China and Russia are saying, we don't want to be part of the dollar area. We want our own currency, and we'll only borrow in our own debt. Last time I went to China, it was a little annoying because they insisted in paying me in yuan, which all these little red bills that you have to go to a bank to turn in, and yet they said, well, we're following your advice. What do you complain about? So what can I do? It's a good idea, but at least they don't want any part of American sanctions.
That's the video. For me, like, it really makes sense, because for the longest time I've asked this question, and I've seen this question, especially when I talk about how great Africa is, and people are like, how do we fix this whole thing? Just like the cobalt that they are investing in Republic of Congo. People are like, why Africa doing this to their own land? The fact is that the way the system is set up after colonization and all that, it has been set up for Africa to just fail. The system is set up for us to fail, literally. Like the way these colonized masters left Africa, they left Africa so that Africa will be in debt all their life, literally. Like, it makes a lot of sense now. And if you're economics and you know that there's a way we Africans can get out of this, please let us know, because like in Nigeria, they keep devaluing our currency every single month. It's literally like devalue. A dollar now is about 700 naira. Like, there was something like some years ago, it was 150 naira. And they keep saying we borrowed money, and the money we had borrowed as Africa, and the money America has borrowed, like it's just crazy. Like, this is how they're playing it for us to just remain in chains. All like, it's so sad. This is why it's really hard for Africa to get out of that. Oh, we have so much resources, but we are still poor. We have so much resources, but it's owned by a lot of foreigner. That's because of the way they never left anyway. They never left. They just left the system, left an automatic system for them, so that they can keep miling our resources, our everything, and we'll get nothing. This is so sad, guys. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think about this video down in the comment section. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Please share this video with someone that you want to hear this and be part of this conversation. Maybe we can find a solution to this. Anyway, guys, with that all said, guys, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and I will see you guys in my next video. Deuces.